You are surviving on 2 tubers of yam for weeks. Not because you're on a diet, not because you want to lose weight, but because that's all you have left in a world that has taken everything else from you. Your dignity, your marriage, your sons, even your traps. Welcome to the life of Mimi, father, philosopher, farmer, and freshly crowned Lord of Tragedy. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a story for you. Not just any story, but a story about hunger, about scams, about family dysfunction, about the tyranny of yams, and ultimately about the brutal poetry of poverty. This is a story told through 3 sets of eyes, over 1 month, in one shared diary, and believe me, each voice hits you like a slap with a rotten yam. So buckle up, let's get into Diaries of a Dead African. First, meet Meme. Mimi is our quintessential tragic patriarch. But unlike your typical patriarch, Mimi has nothing. Zilch. Nada. What he does have is a wife who left him with just 2 yams and a bitter taste in his mouth. This woman didn't just cheat on him. No. She also took his yams, applying a rather creative form of arithmetic. 10 yams per son born to me, even the 3 who didn't make it. It's like alimony meets agriculture. So here's Mimi, alone, hungry, powerless, but not yamless. Yet. There's a yam festival coming, and until it's celebrated, no one is allowed to harvest fresh yams. That's when those 2 tubers become Meme's holy grail. He guards them like they're the crown jewels, rations them like he's in a zombie apocalypse. But life, in typical fashion, says, hold my palm wine. Every trap Mimi sets in the bush to catch something, anything for food, someone steals the catch. When he tries to sell his few remaining possessions, no one's buying. When he begs for food on credit, no one's giving. The villagers, in conspiracy with fate, seem determined to squeeze every last drop of hope from his dry sponge of a life. Eventually, Memi cracks. He sets out, not to live, but to avenge. He's going to go out like a true tragic figure, not alone. Now here's where things get philosophical. Could Mimi have taken another path? Could he have ignored the mocking songs the villagers made for him, ignored the shame, and simply waited out the famine? Maybe. But as the story unfolds, it's clear that Mimi is the human version of pressure building in a sealed bottle. He is frustration with no outlet, his life a cul-de-sac, a dead end. And when the final rotten yam is harvested, Mimi knows he has no place left to go but down, and he's not going down quietly. But the story doesn't end with Mimi. Enter Calamatus, also known as Kalama. He's Mimi's son, one of the 2 that remained. And yeah, the name Calamatus is painfully ironic. Calamatus returns to the village to bury his father. And all he inherits? A gun, a diary full of anguish, and a taste for tragedy. But unlike Mimi, Kalama is rich. Not tech bro rich or oil money rich. He's 419 rich, scam artist rich. One of those guys who sends emails to gullible foreigners promising them millions in exchange for their bank accounts. And guess what? It works. He's made it. He's got the cars. He's building a mansion on Meme's compound. He's got the clout. But here's the twist. Kalama is physiologically impotent. Now here's where the tragedy gets philosophical again. Meme was ridiculed for being financially impotent. He had nothing to his name. Kalama, though rich, is haunted by what people might say or think about his manhood. So just like Mimi, he's crippled by shame. It eats him from the inside out. And like father, like son, Kalama chooses to check out of this world the same way Mimi did, violently and fatally. This is not just a coincidence. This is legacy. This is inherited despair. Now meet Abel. He's the older brother of Calamatus, and in many ways, the most complex of the 3. Abel is an ex-convict trying to be a writer, even though he hasn't published anything meaningful. He's not flashy like Kalama. He's not hungry like Mimi. He's somewhere in between, a man trying to carve his own path out of poverty and shadow. But guess what? Abel is caught in a trap too, this time political. He's being hunted by the same scammers who once adored Kalama. He's being dragged into local politics he barely understands. And before he can finish a single sentence in his book, he's already on the run. When he comes back to the village, the mansion Kalama was building is abandoned. Mimi's diary, Kalama's diary, all the rage, regret, and reality is waiting for him. And so is a man with vengeance in his heart. Unlike his father and brother, though, Abel does something different. When death stares at him, when fate corners him like a rabid goat, Abel chooses life. He doesn't escape fate, not really, but he chooses to live. He doesn't win, but he survives. And in this story, that might be the biggest miracle.
No thanks, I choose life.
So, what book is this twisted, hilarious, sad, and painfully real story from? It's Diaries of a Dead African by Chuma Nwokolo, a dark comedy, a philosophical commentary, a satirical tragedy, and a love letter to the forgotten man, all rolled into one. Published by Villager House in 2003, this 193-page novel is not just literature, it's a howl from the belly of the beast. This book had me laughing at things I probably shouldn't be laughing at. The prose is razor sharp, the humor is bitter and intelligent, and the pain is palpable. It's a book about the absurdity of poverty, how everything that can go wrong will, how society treats the poor as invisible until they become inconvenient. It's about how shame, whether from money or manhood, can break a person. The three diaries, Mimi's, Calamatus's, and Abel's, give us different flavors of despair. Mimi represents the fatalism of the poor, a man reduced to hunger and mockery. Calamatus shows us the fragility of success, how money doesn't fix everything, especially not identity or masculinity. Abel gives us a glimpse of hope, though even his journey is fraught with danger and compromise. And then there's Stella, the wife, the mother, the only one who ends the story on the right side of everything. She leaves Mimi for a rich vulcanizer and makes a good life for herself. And no matter how we judge her, the truth remains. She survived. In a world where poverty is a death sentence, that's no small feat. Money in this book is everything. It shapes how people are treated. It corrupts the village chief. It drives scammers and politicians alike. But what Chuma Nwokolo shows us is that in the pursuit of money, we often lose everything else. We lose ourselves. If you've never known poverty, you might read this and think it's exaggerated. But for those who've lived it, Diaries of a Dead African is a painful mirror. It's hilarious, heartbreaking, and disturbingly true. I highly recommend it. Chuma Nwokolo is more than just a novelist. He's an advocate, a publisher, and a brilliant satirist. He's the founder of African writing and has penned other powerful works like Memories of Stone and The Ghosts of Sani Abacha. Two of his novels even feature in the legendary Pacesetter series. If you enjoy biting satire, rich cultural context, and deeply human stories, Chuma's your guy. Have you read Diaries of a Dead African? What did you think about Mimi's decision? Was Calamatus's fate justified? Is Abel the only one who truly won? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell if you enjoy book reviews that dive deep into African literature. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep reading. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you're interested in diving deeper into this book, I've left some links down in the description. You can use it to grab yourself a copy and keep the adventure going. And if you're in the mood for more great reads, don't go just yet. Click on one of the videos popping up right now that I think you'll love. And don't forget to give this review a like, leave a comment, or even subscribe if you'd like to see more. Every bit of support helps us grow this little community of book lovers. See you in the next one.